I like it.
Here, see, there's no book that you have to with your back.
Wonderful. Fire chief she said she could and then she went. She is so cute.
That's the second one.
No, but don't. Just you and Brad. Okay. You're both qualified, so. No, yeah. Yeah. No, yeah, right.
All right, we'll call meeting to order at 7:01. Stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Looking for a motion to approve the amended agenda for your
So moved.
Right. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Is there public comment about agenda items? Oh, go ahead. Go.
There's a fight back here.
Who's going first?
You only got 3 minutes.
Brad.
You only have 3 minutes to play.
In regards to the fire department, deputy chief contract, did you by any chance, is there an analysis in regarding to what these extra costs are going to be? Was that figured out? What it's gonna cost the township between the promotions, the new fire chief hire? And that includes overtime pay they would get possibly, and also benefits. I'm just wondering, is that going to be presented tonight, what the cost is going to be?
We're actually not supposed to do question and answer. It's just public
Well,
comment.
it is about the agenda though.
Right, so you can
Right.
comment, but we're not supposed to answer
Oh,
back.
I can't ask a question. Okay, well, I hope that you have that in there so the residents know. Okay, thank you.
Thank you for your comment.
Supervisor, could you
Yes.
have the microphone pushed down so that they could speak into it more easily?
Sure.
Renee will bring it
Thanks,
down.
Renee.
Thank you, Renee.
It's really quite simple.
My comment is also about the fire chief's contract is, and mine is kind of aimed at our firefighters that have been here and worked, our full-time firefighters, and that you guys are willing to give somebody that has 3 years of service, full-time service, 10 years of retirement, when all the rest of these firefighters and all the rest of the employees in the township, including elected officials, have to work 20 years. I think that's a slap in the face to our other firefighters that have been here all these years and have supported Egelston and done what's best for our residents. And I don't know if any of you guys thought about it. I don't understand what makes him so special, Alex so special, that you guys would be willing to give him 10 years of retirement. I mean, it just seems really idiotic and a slap to these guys. If you're here for the fire department, you should be here for all of these firefighters that have worked And is this going to affect their union contract? Are they gonna say to you guys, well, we all want that 10 years? Because he's not a union employee. And yet you're giving him the same benefits as the union. And how can you do that to our firefighters? How can you be that inconsiderate and rude and uncaring about these guys that have worked so hard for this fire department and then give him special treatment? A fire chief is not union. He shouldn't be getting anything the union gets. His contract should be completely different. Thank you.
Is there any other public comment about agenda items?
I didn't realize that we weren't gonna be able to ask questions.
You
I
can
had-
ask questions, we just can't go back and forth and answer.
I understand. This has been going on for what, 8 months now? 8 months? Isn't that an awful long time to be without a fire chief? And I understand that there was plenty of applications, but they didn't qualify. And some people who were overly qualified, we don't pay enough to get them in here. So I just don't understand why this board is taking 8 months to get this fire chief thing settled. I think it's ridiculous, and I think that, I personally think Alex would make a very good fire chief, and that's my thoughts on it.
Thanks for your comment. Just to let you know, we took office November 20th.
No, that's true.
Well, sorry, 5 of us did. Go ahead.
I want to first start off saying thank you to the board for all that you do. I know it's a big job. Some of you may not know me. My name is Rachel Jones. My husband Ken and I were born and raised here, as well as our children and our parents. Both of our families have been in this community for many generations. As a concerned citizen of the township, I have issues with the hiring process for the fire chief position for Egelston Township Fire Department. After recently returning to the area, I heard that the fire chief position was open and heard about the firefighter being considered for the position. His name is Alex Maginity, as everybody knows, which is really weird for me because I am related, and so this is nothing personal whatsoever. He has 3 years full-time experience with the fire department and 2 years part-time. Prior to being a firefighter, he was trustee of Egelston Township, and prior to that, he worked at Lowe's as a delivery driver. Board, you have not set the bar very high because are you sure 3 years experience is enough time served to qualify for the fire chief position? I'm concerned of the potential lawsuits due to the lack of experience of the applicant. As of the 2020 census, our township has 11,128 people and a total of 35.8 square miles. We have Wolf Lake, the Muskegon River, Sun Chemical, Eagle Alloy, the Muskegon Wastewater Dump, and now a solar array. These are not minor businesses, and there could be catastrophes in our area. It's concerning that we want to hand this over to a 3-year recruit. With that said, I would like the new fire chief to have more than 3 years full-time experience. I would like someone in that position to at least have 10 or 15 years. Excuse me, I'm a little shaky. I want everybody in this room to imagine you starting your new job and not having any experience in that job. And now imagine being in that job for 2 years part-time and 3 years full-time. Would you have felt comfortable enough to apply for the CEO or the president position? The title chief usually denotes that the person has the power and authority to make important decisions and lead others. In some cultures, the title of chief is respected and esteemed position that has been earned through years of experience, wisdom, and leadership. I know the job was posted internally last fall, and then the board decided to post the job again. On the 16th of December, a special meeting was held and the board discussed the fire chief position. Then another special meeting was held December 21, and the minutes state, and I quote, "Thana will be the administrative fire chief, and she has appointed Alex Maginity as her point person for communication." However, that was not voted on in that meeting, and it looks like Thana made the appointments herself. I have more. If you'd like to speak with me, I will be happy to tell you. There you go. Right there.
I had something else I wanted to say. I'm Tony Baldwin, I live on Sharon. The fire chief was reposted and there was a special meeting held on January 13 to review the applicants. And then on January 30, they held the interviews. It appears there were only 2 other candidates interviewed at this time. At the February 5 board meeting, Supervisor Fano recommended that we hire McGinney as fire chief, and I'm gonna kill somebody's name here, Glotzbach as the deputy chief. Clerk recommended Fano meet with McGinnity and Glotzbach to put together agreements. There was no consensus, no vote by the board. They are still, in capital letters, trying to get him hired because at the March 17 meeting, there was a motion by Clerk Rapp to hire McGinney as fire chief, but it died due to lack of support. Apparently at Egelston Township, it's not what you know, but who you know. Hiring Alex Maginity appears to be the nepotism to me. I recommend the position be reposted to quality candidates. There are many firefighter associations where the job could be posted. She have been on many hiring committees due to my position at FSU and CSCU. I must say this has been a very unorganized hiring process. I received a list of our firefighters with their ranks. Right now they have a chief, second lieutenant, career firefighter, and paid on-call staff, which includes a sergeant. If McKinney were to be hired, he would be moving up 2 positions per se, but actually he has 3 other people in front of him, so I would say that's moving up 4 positions. There were agreements discussed with Fano, McGinnity, and Glotzbach per the minutes from the township board meeting on 2/5/25. She does not understand, I don't either, why this was done. Shouldn't these agreements be done prior to applicants seeing or being involved with them? I would think so. Speaking of an agreement, attention residents, the agreement states, and I quote, she does, I don't. I might though. The township 20-year retiree health care with 10 years accredited service at the signing of this contract, which means the applicant will automatically receive 10 years served towards 20 years requirement for the retiree health care. Also, the agreement states the position will begin at $75,000. I don't have a problem with the salary, only if the position did not require a trainer. I have not heard how much we are paying that person if Alex is hired because the trainer's agreement wasn't in this packet. The whole process is nepotism at its best. Thank you. My comment is my niece was driving down Evanston Avenue and there was a sweeper truck on the road sweeping up red stuff on the ground, the road. Did that come from some chemical? And if so, why weren't the residents notified that something red was dumped on the road they had cleaned up? That's my comment. Oh, and where was the acting chief? Was she at the scene?
Is there any other public comment about agenda items? All right, let's move on to approval of the consent agenda.
I motion to approve.
I second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Old business. I know there were questions and concerns brought up at the last meeting, so I wanted to just read this. I had referenced it in past meeting minutes, but I will just read the whole thing. This was from Liam Carroll from Lara on Thursday, February 13th. Good day, Supervisor Fano. We wish to inform you that we will be issuing a new letter to be more consistent with the rules to those who are assigned the fire chief role in SMOKE, our training records management platform. Below, we have provided a copy of the email body, which is to be used in the future. If you have questions, please feel free to contact State Fire Marshal Kevin Sailmeyer. Begin the email body. In accordance with Public Act 291 of 1966 as amended and the Michigan Firefighters Training Council's Administrative Code, aka rules, as a newly appointed fire chief, you must have or obtain the following requirements as defined in the rules. If the below credentials have not been previously attained, the following requirements apply towards getting your fire chief certification. You must attain firefighter 2 or reciprocity within 12 months of being assigned to the fire chief user role. You must attain within 36 months from the latter of your firefighter 2 certification date or fire chief user role start date all of the following certificates: instructor 1 or reciprocity, fire officer 1 or reciprocity, fire officer 2 or reciprocity. Log into Smoke, select My Data on the left, select My Profile. Under your name, select Applications. From the pull-down menu mid-screen, select Fire Chief. Smoke will automatically check your profile for necessary credentials and check the boxes as applicable. The Information button may be used to see a list of all acceptable credentials. Once they've been recognized and you have read and accepted the remaining 3 items, there's a Submit button, and it just talks about the finishing that. But those are the requirements for Fire Chief from the licensing department. So Liam Carroll is a certification chief at the Bureau of Fire Services and Firefighter Training Division in Lansing. So I just wanted you guys to have that on the record.
So to clarify, the requirements are instructor 1, fire officer 1, and fire officer 2.
Or reciprocity, yes, within 36 months of being assigned the fire chief role or from the firefighter 2 certification date.
So we are not qualified.
All right. With that, we have a legal memorandum that we need to discuss, so we need to move into a closed session.
Motion to move into closed session.
Second.
Do we need a roll call vote?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Roll call.
Peggy? Yes. Ben?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so I've never done this before. I don't know how it works, but I guess everyone needs to step outside so we can do our closed session with the attorney.
You're welcome to come back when we come out.
We will open the doors when our closed session is done.
I know.
Any recording devices need to be taken out. Thank you.
In open session.
And I would like to make a motion to direct Foster Swift to provide specific language reserving the right of the board to make decisions hiring, firing, and extending the employment of the fire chief and deputy fire chief positions to the discretion of the board of trustees.
I second that.
Roll call again, Kevin?
Sure. Trudy? Yes. Peggy?
Yes.
Ben?
Yes.
Yes.
Ryan?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. All right. Next item is the fire chief contract. So So we're looking for a motion to approve it as we just amended with the new language, right?
Correct. So I would make a motion to approve it with the amendment we just made.
I second that.
I have discussion.
Okay.
I'm just concerned why the employee may receive an annual 5% residency bonus. That's another $37.50. I don't know why we need to have that. He's already a resident.
That was included in the job posting. I think it's important to stay consistent and keep our promises.
Yes.
That was recommended by the interim chief when we first went out.
Can't hear you.
Was that a requirement or was that preferred that they live here?
It's something that we decided.
It was preferred, right? Listed in the posting?
It is something we preferred, but it's also something that we included in the job posting.
Yeah, it
So
was
we
offered.
prefer him to live here and he already does.
We
Yes.
didn't know we were going to choose him though.
But we already, so why do we have to add 5 more percent? That's my question.
Because we offered a 5% residency bonus in the posting.
To whomever got the position.
This one says if he maintains his residency. He already lives here.
Yeah, and if he moves away, he doesn't get it. But if he stays here, he gets it.
Usually it's to discourage them from moving away. Or to move here even. Well,
I didn't read the
so
posting.
then we're going to go from 75,000 to 78,750.
Correct.
Unqualified. Our interim chief made 60,000 and our fire chief, I believe, was at, 62. Our interim chief had 27 years' experience. I think you should consider that.
We've also had, he's not had a raise either, the previous chief, and we've had inflation.
The previous chief got 3% raise every year. We voted for raises for them since I've been here.
Are you talking about the interim chief?
No, the chiefs.
Okay.
The chiefs were.
So that's been a while.
And the previous board agreed to offer between 60 and 70,000. So if we were going to offer that much, maybe we could have got more applicants.
Actually, this was decided before we posted the position. It's all out there. We posted it for 75 to 85,000, I believe. Somebody wanted to go up to 95, and I was like, no. We are not big enough to offer 95,000. So I brought it back down, and we agreed 75 to 85,000 with the 5% residency bonus. So therefore, that is what we have to offer in a contract, because as a board, we voted on the posting and the job description. We actually fine-tooth combed it. We all sat around the table and made edits. There was a huge section that we edited for you, so that was all part of that meeting.
What section was that?
In the job posting?
Yeah.
It was like 7 pages long, and we wanted to whittle it down a little bit. I think we got it down to 5.
You can check the minutes on that.
And this job description that we have in here, you said we put in the posting?
We posted something that was
Oh, you
like,
said this job description.
which
Was
I
it,
don't
or
know what
was
you're,
it?
I don't know what you're
The one
showing.
that's in the contract, the one that's in the packet. You said we posted this job description. Which job description are you talking about? We only have
It's too
one.
late to change
Not
anything
this.
about the job description. We're just.
I'm talking about the posting where we offered the pay.
Okay, so you didn't post the job description that we have in our packet.
I'm not logged into Indeed right now, sorry.
The one we approved was what we put into Indeed.
Is that what's in our packet though? The same job
I wasn't
description we
asked to put it in
posted?
the packet.
There's no
But
job
you said we're
listing.
sticking to our posting and our promises, so I wanna know if that posting is the same as what's in our packet, cause obviously to me it's
No,
not.
no. That's in the
That's what
contract
you
because
said.
Where's the
it's in
posting?
the contract because that was what
I
was
didn't
in our
put the
posting.
in the packet.
So that's what's in
We
the contract.
posted it months
Is the
ago.
5% bonus for residency. I didn't say it was included in our packet.
But you said we're sticking to our promises made in the posting,
Yes.
but this contract is not what was posted.
The
The
5%,
amount.
the 5% residency bonus is in the contract because it was in our job posting.
Can you send that job posting because we made changes and I didn't see the final one before it got posted?
Sure. Alright, so we had a motion on the floor.
Was there any more discussion?
Alright, let's roll call vote.
Yes.
Yes.
No.
No.
Yes.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-2. Next up is the deputy chief contract. Would anyone like to discuss or make a motion?
I have some discussion if no one else does.
Do we have to discuss before,
Wait, we got a
after the motion?
should have a motion first.
Sure. I would make a motion to accept.
I second it.
Okay, so, I meant to say this before we voted on the chief, so I want you to know that the minimum requirements for our deputy chief are much more involved than the fire chief. So here's the minimum fire chief, fire officer 1 and 2. Successful candidates must obtain instructor 1 and 2, the board is going to require 2. That's not a requirement of the state, but it's okay if we do that, within 36 months per the Michigan Firefighter Training Council administrative rules. It does not say fire officer 1 and 2. Those are required by the state. And our minimum requirement for our fire chief doesn't even list that. And then it says valid Michigan driver's license, good driving record, FFTC emergency vehicle driver certificate. Here's the deputy. Firefighter 1 and 2 and hazmat, those are standard, even all of our firefighters have that. FFTC, major emergency vehicle driver certification, NIMS incident command for the fire service, not on the chief. Fire officer 1, 2, and 3, 3 is not even required by the state. Fire instructor 1. FEMA, ICS, IS 100, 200, 300, 400, 700, 800, not on the fire chief, but we're expecting our deputy chief to have it. Valid Michigan driver's license, good driving record. Acceptable criminal background, free of felony convictions. Not on the minimum for the chief, but the deputy chief has to meet that. Preferred training and interest. Associate degree in fire science or related field of study and at least 15 years of fire suppression experience, including at least 5 years of upper level administrative responsibility or an equivalent combination of education experience to provide sufficient evidence of the successful performance of the essential elements of the job, such as those listed above. We are demanding that our deputy chief has all of these and not the fire chief. Why does this person have to have so much more? This one doesn't even list the state requirements.
Which items would you like to strike from the requirements?
I don't think she wants to add.
So mine only says firefighter 1 and 2, hazmat, OPS,
Yeah.
and MRF. Successful candidates to obtain 1 and 2, instructor 1 and 2 within 36 months per the Michigan law, firefighter trainer council administrative rules, valid Michigan driver's license and good driving record, and FFTC emergency vehicle certificate.
That's the chief. The deputy chief has oh so much more. NIMS incident command, fire officer 1, 2, and 3, FEMA, IS 100, 200, 300, 400, 700, 800, criminal background check, free of felony convictions, and preferred 15 years of fire suppression and 5 years of upper level administration. We don't even require that of our chief. Yet, we're going to expect that from a deputy chief.
Just to clarify, no one on this board wrote that. It was written by Foster Swift. So perhaps she knew that Dave had those qualifications and that is our single candidate for the position. But like Benj asked, what would you like to change?
This is a job description and duties. Are we just going to throw this away after we hire Dave? Or is this only a one-time thing? Or is this a job
Trudy,
description?
what would you like to
We
change?
don't have job descriptions So this is it, this is what we're going to agree to. Well,
You need to clarify, what would you like to change?
I would like to change the chief, but you're not willing to
That's
do
too
that,
late.
so it sure is. I would take off fire officer 3. I'm not sure about the FEMA 100, 200, 300, what that is.
Can you switch job descriptions around?
Sorry, we can't take comments right now.
Associate degree in fire science, maybe I would take that off there.
Do you have
Yeah,
access to that document, Clifford, or is that, because McKenna wrote that?
I just want the
don't have it right
public
now,
to
but I
know,
can get access to the document.
I just want the public to know that our job descriptions are targeted toward who we're trying to hire right now. Not a job description that we wanna take forward with us. Obviously, I hope we don't, that our deputy has way more requirements than our chief. Maybe at a later date, we can work on those job descriptions again.
That's actually part of our plan. It's amazing that you're on board with
Yeah,
it.
why
We
don't
want to
we do
have
it
job
beforehand
descriptions
then?
for all of our employees.
Why didn't we do it beforehand?
I guess.
If I have to ask you again, you might have to leave. Please keep your comments to yourself until public comment. Any other discussion? All right, we'll roll call vote.
Oh, I have one more question for the attorney. As an exempt employee, I didn't know anything about what that meant, so I was trying to research and read the law, and maybe you can help me understand, is the 3 exemption employees administrative, professional, and executive?
I can't give legal advice, but I can tell you in general.
Well, let me tell you why I'm asking, because,
Let me just might help you out, so that we can get to the bottom line a bit quicker, rather than specific questions, because I don't want to get into specific questions.
okay,
But I can tell you that the law is very clear, but it also has some subtleties. And every position and everybody's duties is a little bit different. Just because you give somebody a title doesn't mean that they are exempt. So the law has what they call white collar exemptions, all right? Now, as a basic rule under Michigan law and federal law, you should pay everybody by the hour. That's the general default that we have. So whether it's $15 an hour or $13 an hour, whatever it might be, we should pay people for the hours that they work. Now, there are certain times that the law says, okay, you are exempt, and there are, as you admit, you talked about, there are administrative positions, there are executive positions, and there are other types of what they call white collar exemptions. There's actually 7 of them. Within the police and fire world, however, there's a whole different issue of who is and is not exempt. In fact, some of the people, and many of the people who would normally be exempt, in other words, you can pay them a salary, as opposed to having the regular Fair Labor Standards Act, or Michigan's what they call IWAWA. If they're not going to apply for police and fire, they have to fall under a very, very specific exemption. In fact, and I've looked at this, several times, what happens under the Michigan rule is your high-level person within your department can probably meet the executive function, so a fire chief. But a person who is a supervisor underneath of them might not qualify, depending on their skill and whether they're truly an executive or a supervisor, or are they really going out and doing firework. So if we have somebody whose primary purpose is to do fire, then that person's not exempt. If we have somebody who does some fire, but the majority of what they do falls under that exemption, then there are specific rules. But it takes a lot of time and specific review of how that person operates to see whether or not they're exempt. So in a fire department, it's different than it is any of you if you worked in an office. Like our office employees, some people, it's very simple to get an exemption determination. It's simple, but it's much simpler. It's much harder to make somebody exempt within the fire and police ranks.
so the reason I'm asking it's because I researched fire and police, and it says for administrative, the employee must be compensated on a salary or fee basis. For the professional, it says the employee must be compensated on a salary or a fee basis. For the executive, it says the employee must be compensated on a salary basis as defined in the regulation. We're paying him by the hour.
That's a default. As I told you, the default is to pay somebody by the hour for every position. I mean, you can pay everybody by the hour. That's lawful. It is unlawful to pay people a specific amount, a salary, unless you fall within the specific requirements of the law. So it is safer to pay by the hour for every position, all the way up to CEO, all the way up to the highest level position, than it is to not pay. So you need to make sure when you're making decisions that when in doubt, when there's a question, that you pay by the hour. Because if we were to make a mistake and pay somebody in a executive function under a salary, and they come back and say, well, actually, I worked a whole lot of hours, and you didn't pay me overtime, we're gonna have to pay that person overtime. Times 2, because you usually get double damages, plus if they get an attorney's fees, plus cost. And you do not want an FLSA claim against you because it's very difficult. So paying by the hour is safer for everybody than paying exemption, but you can pay exemption as long as you're doing it the right way. And if the person technically falls under that. So yeah, you're right. We are paying by the hour. That's not an exemption, that is a default. That is the safe route.
But why does our contract say he's an exempted employee then?
Well, he's not gonna be exempt until or unless we pay him different than ours. Now, again, he's not exempt if he's making X dollars per hour. It's a technical term of art. And it's not something we can say. So I can't go out and contract with somebody, for instance. I can't come out to somebody and say, hey, I'm gonna make you exempt, and you agree. It doesn't matter if I agree. If I actually don't do the duties and make the amount that you're supposed to make, it doesn't matter what you call me. You can call me exempt, you can call me purple, it doesn't matter. You should pay that person hourly.
I thought for sure our contract stated that he's an exempt employee. That's why I looked it up.
If to the extent we pay somebody an hourly wage, we are not treating him as an exempt employee. But to the extent we give somebody an exempt status and we pay them, then we must fall within the very fine details of the Fair Labor Standards Act and Michigan's similar Iowa statute.
Thank you. I have another question. Number 1 says, the parties agree to this agreement may be extended for an additional year upon mutual written agreement within, it says 30 or 60 or other. So do we need to determine that before we vote on this contract?
You should.
And there's also another one on page 3. The employee will be paid his normal hourly rate when using sick time. Sick time may be used in 1 hour or other increments. We probably should determine what we're going to agree to. Like 1 hour, do you have to take a whole day, or can you take it by the hour? Right, there's 2 different things that it says here, 1 hour / other. So we probably should
What's your,
decide. Okay, whatever the board decides.
well, right now there's a motion on the floor. So if there's any amendments, we need to have a proposed amendment. We can't.
Can we leave this contract like it is, Cliff, and say 30/60 / other?
That needs to be determined so that we can offer it, whoever makes that determination.
Can it be circled, or does it have to be like just typed in there and remove the other 2 parts?
We need a vote to.
We can circle it if you direct, yeah.
I mean, like, if we made a decision right now as a board, could we then circle like 30 days and type in 1 hour and then approve it as amended tonight?
Or can he rescind his motion and let's make those decisions and then we can approve this contract
I can add any
With-
amendments to the motion.
Oh,
So what would you like it for the first concern?
I
What
think
would you
it's
like to
conventional,
say?
I think our, code enforcer has a 30-day notice. Well, this is to extend it, his is to end it, so. I think 30 is okay.
I would agree, 1 hour of sick time for 30 hours of work. I like
Well, we're
that.
talking about,
That's determined by the state, we don't
Oh,
get to
what's
choose
the
that.
word?
we're talking about, well, page 1, the parties agree that this agreement may be extended for an additional year upon mutual written agreement within 30 days of the expiration.
Sure, 30.
I mean, no one 2 months ahead if you're gonna stay here.
Yeah,
or-
we need a little time ahead.
But 30 is, I think, plenty.
Is there a
I-
consensus on 30?
Are you gonna change
I
your
accept that
motion?
amendment.
Okay, and then,
The other one was on page 3. Well, back to 2, there was a question, whether we front load the hours for sick time, or we, track it later. I think the way it's written, I don't know, Cliff, if you can chime in, that is, we do not front load, and this sentence in number 6 is not referring to front load, correct?
It is an option for the board. Under the new Michigan Earned Sick Time Act, people have the right to have certain sick time, regardless of, who you are. As an employer, you have some options. You can make that person accrue it as they work. They get more time, 1 for every 30 is the minimum. If you have a policy that differs from that, you go ahead and say, well, whoever it is that you have that's under this current policy, just follow that. Or you have the right to, for a full-time person, give them 72 hours up front. If they're a part-time employee, you're allowed to prorate based on the amount of hours you anticipate that person to work. Divide by 30, give them a written notice up front, say this is how many hours we expect you to work. Here it is, we'll watch your hours and give you more if you work more hours than that. So you have discretion under this relatively new statute to provide it in the way that you want. So we can give it 1 for 30 or whatever rate that's better than that. We could give it in a front load, a full 72, or in a prorated amount based on the hours they work, watching their hours, making sure their bank is compensated according to the hours that they work.
I just wanna be sure that what this says is not front loading, because we in the office, and Trish and I have discussed this, our deputy clerk, we aren't front loading. So if it says 13 hours of sick time per 1 hour, 13 hours of paid sick time per 1 hour of sick time for 30 hours worked, that's not front loading, right?
No,
Okay,
that's accumulation.
and that's what we're going to do, okay. Page 3. So if the fire chief or deputy chief takes off sick time, can he take an hour at a time? I'm fine with that.
consensus from y'all on there?
So would that be prorating basically an hour to the hour?
If you just wanna take an hour off,
Sick time is prorated by hour.
So just to make sure, that means under the Earned Sick Time Act, you can't force a person to take any more than 1 hour of sick time. So let's just say, I'm sick, I have to go to the doctor, it's gonna take me an hour. You can't make me take 4 hours or a full day. You have to at least give me the option for an hour or less.
Correct.
thank you. And the, work hours are limited and the pay is limited also, 218 hours,
Yes.
comes out to $6,000.75.
Yep.
And he's going to work when the fire chief requests it.
Yes.
Okay. I would like to know if the deputy fire chief is going to respond to all structure fires, automobile incidents, hazardous materials, or any other incident that might require additional personnel or a high level of command presence. obviously from the recommendation from the Alpine chief and deputy chief, and it's been stated at board meetings before, the minimum years of experience is a question. And, I'd just like to know if deputy chief is going to, my concern is that he assists with incident command, like a fire or like a chemical leak or an explosion.
Well, that's a little bit outside of the scope of discussion, but I will answer and say that I have all the confidence that if there was a chemical leak or an explosion or a major fire, that he would show up. But it is not a requirement. We cannot force that on anyone. And I know that other chiefs around the state and the country, they don't go to every single call. But if there's a major issue, they probably show up.
I'm not asking about the chief, I'm asking about the deputy chief.
He'll probably go.
Mhm.
He would love to. I know his heart, but we've had discussions. But we're not mandating that.
What if he's on vacation, what if he's sick?
Yeah.
There's like so many,
Then we're in trouble if we don't have someone with more than 3 years full-time experience to command a scene
That
like a huge
assumes-
fire.
We've talked
Too
about
little of
commanding
our
the
fire
scene
department.
till we're blue in the face. We don't need someone with 15 years to command the scene. They all do it every day.
They don't, do they all command a fire?
We have a
like you?
motion on the floor.
Yeah, I know, I'd like
This
to
is
know.
not
do you have
discussing.
any other
I'm-
amendments? Do you have an actual amendment?
It has to be about the contract.
Well, maybe we should add some of these things to the contract then. Or if they're not going to, then why do we need a deputy? We're going to pay a chief, a battalion chief, and a deputy chief. But the things that we need him for, we promise he's going to, because we know he's going to. I have an issue with that. What is the purpose of having a deputy chief? Why
For
do we have to
mentorship and
create this?
training.
Yes, so if you can't go there to mentor him and train him at a structure, fire, or hazardous material, or a big incident like that, that defeats the purpose of having one and paying them.
He's not gonna sit home in bed while there's a major structure fire. I can guarantee you.
What if he moves on, then we have to get someone else?
We'll have to deal with it when that comes. He's gonna be in a
Right.
one-year contract.
Okay, so in the meantime, we put our people at risk.
All right, so let's do a roll call vote on our motion. Do you guys remember the motion?
Will you
repeat it, please?
Ben?
I motion to accept the deputy fire chief contract with the amendments of, the extension of the contract needs to be, before 30 days, before it expires. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And to prorate sick time by 1 hour.
Sick time can be used in 1 hour increments.
And that sick time could be used in 1 hour increments.
And if this person moves on, are we going to hire another one?
We have a motion.
Yeah, I can discuss it.
That's a
Your
separate
motion
idea.
is separate.
That's a whole different situation.
Well, that determines what
And-
happens with this,
And we have a motion on the floor.
and I'm discussing it.
Okay, so Benj amended his motion.
Did you have any other discussion, like as in an amendment that you would like to make?
Do you need a second? A second.
All right, Peggy seconds his amended motion, so now we're gonna roll call vote.
Okay. Corey?
Yes.
Rhonda?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
No?
Yes.
Yes.
Motion carries 6-1. All right, the next is new business story trail celebration. You're welcome to stay and chime in on this one, Clifford, if we need you. Laura had cautioned about this one, so I don't know if this is your area of expertise or if we need to get with her again, but.
I would probably talk to her. I don't have in-depth view of this. I know of it, but I don't know.
Okay.
Really.
Okay.
Could you answer what, public funds means? Is it tax revenue, fines, fees, money we borrowed? The, lawful expenditures relating to public funds? What about a donation?
So I will tell you that I can answer that question, but I can't do it in an open meeting. I would rather have it in
Okay.
a closed session with a memo with more context.
Okay, so I have the proposed budget there and the line items to accept a donation. And apparently there's issues with buying books. You said the attorney mentioned that at the meeting she attended. I thought she was questioning food. But our fire department takes donations every year for the open house. They buy food, they buy hot dogs, they buy things to give away, like last year they had a little red plastic fire helmet, maybe some badges. The festival committee takes donations. In the past, they bought t-shirts to give away, they buy kid game prizes and toys. So I'm just wondering what the
issue
question
is
is.
not with donations.
What is it with?
I can explain. So the issue is running it through our books. So yes, Laura Genovich sat over there and said, ooh, careful, I wouldn't do that. Buying ice cream and buying books is what she cautioned us on. They are not lawful expenditures for a township. When I was in training 2 weeks ago, they talked a lot about this. It is best practice if you're in question to just get the donation. The party is fine, the donation is fine. Have the donor buy the items or have MADL buy the things.
Is that what the fire department does every year? When they take donations and they buy, they don't,
I don't
because I
think
see
they're
the
giving,
bills.
I don't think
see
they're
the
giving
bills.
them away. You're taking
Yes,
the
they're
donation
giving it
to
away.
give,
They gave away food, they gave away red helmets, they give away bags with color books and things in there. They took a donation, it got deposited into the fund, and they spent it. They spent it on things to give away to people, food and things for little kids.
I wasn't
And
here
so
at
did the
that time.
festival.
I wasn't here at that time. I got a memo from, or an email from the attorney, and I heard about it at training, so I just wanted to make sure. And she sat there and said it, and she said it again.
That was with public funds. That was before, because that
It
was
is
the reason why I
running it-
asked for, I said I'll ask for a donation then.
But
Because
running
we
it
weren't
through
going
our books gets to be,
run it through the book.
The fire department doesn't run it through the book, they do. I cash receipt it in. When people make a donation, I cash receipt it in. And I see where they spent it, because I sign it.
What line item? So isn't it separated, segregated funds, the donations
Yeah,
are?
this is going to come out of, if you look at what I gave you in the packet, it will come out of, it'll go in revenue in the general fund, and I talked with the deputy clerk, and that's the number she told me to use. And it will go into park supplies.
And that came from park supplies. But
Yeah,
that's
that's a park out there.
okay, I have a
but
question.
no, hold on, those were donations though, right?
What was?
The ice cream, the open house.
There will be a donation of $1,000, a check written to the township.
And that money is,
Difficult to just make the donation to Maddle
but
and
that,
have them buy the books.
I'm-
Because the fire department does it, the festival committee does the exact same thing. Someone donates
but
money,
it's a separate
we
fund.
cash receipt it in. Yeah, this is a separate fund too, for
Okay,
parks.
so we have okay, you wanna take it from the parks fund, there's a separate
That's what the
donation
deputy
fund
clerk
for the
told
parks?
us to put it.
Okay,
So,
do we have a donor for that already lined up?
Yes.
Okay,
It's
I have-
kind of a little embarrassing, and I have to tell Maddle that we won't accept the money and we can't spend it.
I have a
When other groups
question.
have done that.
I have a question, Trudy.
I can be honest with you, this is a simple answer, but I think it needs to be in an attorney-client privilege, very brief, short statement to you, and it'll clear it up, I think, fairly shortly, and you'll know exactly what it is. I know the answer to this, but again, we're in a public session, I think it's best to put it in writing so you can take a look at it. There are nuances, but it's pretty straightforward. But I don't want to give advice in the middle of a public meeting, because I think we need to make sure we have all the details correct.
Let me do this. What else do we need to do to have this open house for the story
I
trail?
have an idea.
We will get
I've
a
been trying
site
to
plan,
ask.
and we will have an emergency
Have
evacuation
you
plan.
asked the donor if they will just buy the materials or give them to you to purchase them yourself or someone?
Well, that doesn't look good when a person, an individual person, I thought of that and I'm like, there's no way I'm going to accept a check personally for something for the township, and that's not good practice to
Or
do
they
that.
could donate it to Maddle. Have you even asked them to donate it to Maddle instead of us?
Well, I could ask Metal. I plan to do that because I figured this was how it was going to go. So I will ask
Because
Metal.
I
So I
emailed
wanna
you.
know from this board, what, you said you would talk to Laura and you'd bring more information, I don't see any more information. So what else will you need from this board, because we have to make plans and get things out? I will bring a site plan and I will bring an emergency evacuation. That's what we do for the festival. Anything else? Anything else you're gonna need or want?
I would just like the donation to not run through our books, but we can receive an opinion from legal if we would like to.
I'll ask someone else to accept it. Or I'll ask Mr. Frizzackerly to order the books and buy ice cream and bring it
Great
here.
idea that it would just go through NATO though. It probably would be a better.
That's fine. Is there anything else that this board is going to ask
I suspect that,
Bill or someone else to do?
I suspect it's just a segregated fund, like, the issue, I think, with the attorney that when she was here was, she thought it was with public funds and we cannot give donations out of that, and maybe she just didn't have all the
No, I
contacts.
specifically emailed her
Mhm.
and said, can we run this through our books to purchase the books and the ice cream? And she said, I would advise against that. You should have a donor do it.
That
So
makes sense. Okay,
So I don't know
If
what
she
the fire
said that,
department's
then-
going to do at your next open house. You're gonna have your donor go buy all that stuff that you use.
but Trudy, it
Vitals,
sounds like
hot
we have
dogs,
multiple
vitals.
ways around it. I feel like we can still get it done. It doesn't have to be a big deal.
They can do it one way and
Trudy, we're in the
Start
middle
off
of a
in a
meeting. You're
different
not
way.
supposed to be addressing the audience. We're
Okay.
trying to have a meeting.
Alright, so I think it would be good that he sends us a memo so that we're clear for future things.
Yeah.
Okay, could you do a memo for us?
Yes.
How would that best work? Like, do you wanna do it now and send to email?
I will send you a formal email tomorrow.
Tomorrow, okay, perfect. So we can, you wanna table this and,
Well, we have a workaround right now. It's not something urgent, right? So,
I will ask Maggle or the ISD if they will accept it.
and we'll just know for the future when we receive the memo, so we won't have this confusion in the future.
Maybe also, Cliff, that we have to buy like 18 bags of Quikrete, and we could take it out of park supplies, and Maddie will reimburse us, otherwise the Maddie lady has to go purchase them herself. But we've been told we can't do that either.
So, who is it you're talking about? Who else? Who
The
told you?
Muskegon Area District Library.
Okay.
We can't purchase things and then be reimbursed from someone else for them?
I'll put it in.
Okay,
That's pretty.
thank you. Appreciate that.
okay.
So are we tabling or?
There's no motion.
No motion.
No motion, we're gonna move on to next item of business, fire department requests.
Good evening.
So you have the letter in front of you. We did go through the process with, getting the carpets cleaned as well as all of our upholstery over there. This is just an addition to go through and have all the HVAC systems cleaned out. That's what this request is for.
So are you asking to go to modernistic right now? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, they were the ones that come out and did the carpet cleaning and the upholstery for us.
Okay.
We were
Has
happy
this
with our
ever
service.
been done?
This has never been done as far as I know in the 10 years of the station.
I motion to approve.
I'd just like to ask why we only have 2 quotes. Herb had this township done recently and we had 3 quotes. Our policies and procedures ask for 3 quotes.
We were only able to get the 2. They were the only 2 that responded.
I will second that motion.
All right, we'll roll call vote.
Benj.
I actually made the motion,
No.
and Trudy made this,
No.
or sorry,
Peggy.
Peggy made this.
Trudy?
Are we voting now?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm trying to find the perfect word.
Yes. Peggy?
Yes.
Yes.
Cory.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
you.
Thanks for getting 2 quotes and picking the cheaper one. DPW.
The first on the list is the emergency repairs to Washington lift station. That was originally to get the 30 horse pump that used to be at old Evanston rebuilt. So when they got the pump to Kennedy Industries, they broke it open, they realized that there were some things you could never forecast inside of that pump. So it did go over, I believe it was $1,400 and some odd dollars. $1,450. So I'm asking for approval to pay the extra $1,450 for the rebuilt on that 30 horse pump. I also listed the parts that were found to be faulty, that weren't considered in the beginning. The impeller high chrome, and the insert ring high chrome, and the profile gasket.
So we need a motion to pay $1,400 to Kennedy?
Yes,
That comes out of what?
sewer repairs,
The additional $1,800.
the additional $1,450.
Make a motion to pay the additional $1,450 to Kennedy for the repairs to the light pump.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Now Peggy,
Yes.
Ben,
Yes.
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 Motion carries.
Second on the list is the new commercial mower request. Did everybody get a chance to read it? And I did supply 3 quotes. I tried to get quotes that we could actually go to if we had to get specialty parts, such as Grand Rapids, Fremont. I don't like to get too much equipment outside of that realm. And all 3 of these mowers are, commercial mowers that would do the project. Currently, we have 2 Hustlers, and that actually came in at the lowest price. And there was money budgeted in the budget hearings.
And you have parts too that you could use.
Yeah, I have Hustler parts, filters, air filters, oil,
How much was budgeted for this?
20,000.
Oh, they really cost that much?
This one, 18,147,
Yeah.
but that's also with a clam bagger.
All
It's
the
the biggest,
tools.
all the bells and whistles, yes, commercial mower. It's not your typical Cub Cadet.
I
Or
know,
Snapper.
it's so expensive, yeah.
Not that there's anything wrong with Cub Cadet.
I motion to approve.
Support.
We'll take a roll call vote.
Brenda,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
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 I put in a map of the story trail to give everybody an idea of where the storyboards would be, the physical attributes out there now. We would put a sign out there to continue the trail to the west. The feet, how many feet off the fence, where the storyboards would face, where the town hall is, and where the light is out here. So does anybody have any questions about the mapping?
I think it's a great job. Thanks for going
I
out there
just have
doing
one,
that.
this is the placement of these, none of them are gonna be hazardous to the little soccer players out there.
No.
Okay.
I can't say that if they run out of bounds, and, I can't, it's gonna be far away from where they're playing
Okay.
soccer, for
Okay.
sure.
They shouldn't be out there. Good.
Exactly.
The motion that the board made to approve the story trail included in the motion to approve a site plan, a design by the DPW supervisor, so that's why it's in the packet now.
I'm just wondering, what's the part we're not seeing, the continue to story trail? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
It's 300 feet in front of the tower
Okay.
to get to the continuation of the story
You got a
trail.
crossover.
Okay.
So that'll be a sign for
Yes,
something?
I already have the sign, everything's ready to go, we're just waiting for quickcrete, concrete. I've got everything in from Mantle, it came in a package, big skid. So something I don't know if this is worth the time, but there is a library fund. I mean, I don't know if some of the money can be taken out of the library fund for the concrete.
And Matt will reimburse us.
I don't, I
That's
just
their
thought I'd
intention.
throw it
They
out
would-
there because there is a
They
line
would
item
pay the
for
whole thing, it's just like,
library.
Do we know how much is in the library fund? And how much is the quick green?
$100.
Oh.
Not enough to break the whole game, but
As long as they understand that it's a reimbursement.
Yeah.
I mean, we get to reimburse them their portion of any improvements on the building, and that would be an improvement to the property. I would-
So then it doesn't matter what fund it comes from if we're being reimbursed, right?
Yeah,
would think park
it
supply.
has to
Doesn't
come
matter.
from, I'll have to check into that, because to charge metal, no, because, for the supplies, the cleaning supplies and stuff.
okay, I didn't know what the library and the window, the umbrella.
so
You
can
just-
well, I can.
You just have to turn in a slip saying that
Yeah.
it's to be charged to metal, so it can.
And we'll find out what happens. And obviously, like Corey said, it'd be good to have that just for the future,
Yeah.
so we can not spin our wheels.
Okay, so we need a motion to, I'll make a motion to accept the design of the storage room.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries.
Here we are, same as last year, second verse, same as the first.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I'm
So the parks, they're gonna be unmanned again. We have a vacated caretaker house. I know that there are candidates, I know that our supervisor is making steps to try to interview those candidates. However, I just don't think this is gonna be done by May 1. So, obviously, I'm gonna need, hopefully, some volunteers to lock up the parks during the week. I did talk to our housekeeper, and she's willing to work some extra hours on the weekend to ensure that the pavilions are ready for rentals, and to make sure those restrooms get locked up and opened on the weekends. The other option is to do nothing.
A question on that, is she full-time or part-time?
She's part-time.
So how long do you think that would add?
Well, she has to be able to do it and stay under the 19 hours. She can't go over 19 hours per week.
It's not much.
So it's about 3 hours for the weekend. She's at about 16 right now.
And she's not asking for
So-
anything extra?
Well, she's gonna get paid.
Well,
She's gonna get
more
paid for
hours.
like 3 hours.
Oh, 3 hours
Because most
extra.
weekends.
Now, on that note, I mean, she's just locking these restrooms, and this is just what the volunteers are gonna do. My team's gonna clean it in the morning. However that bathroom looks on a Sunday or a Saturday morning could be rough. I mean, we have to really put the pedal to the metal on getting someone to take care of the parks on the weekends and holidays. But I'm just looking for any volunteers that could lock up, say. And there's a lot of times that the ball clubs will lock up Flickama on holiday if I request it, but it may be locked up sooner than the closing time of 11 o'clock.
That'd be easy to explain if we don't have a caretaker at the moment, but people would just have to understand.
We did it till July 1st last year.
Well, hopefully it won't take
I
that
hope
long.
not.
Is there a motion that we need to approve extra hours or no?
We really can't.
What are you looking for, somebody to, besides Robin, you're looking for somebody else to do something here too?
So Robin, I talked to Amanda, as long as she doesn't go over her 19, she's okay with it temporarily. But she's not gonna have enough time to close it on the weekdays. Could the ball clubs possibly help us out? Yes. But there's still the fact that Beals Park, which gets the most traffic, I would need a volunteer to lock that up. And there is a weekend that Robin will be out of town, so I will need volunteers for that, and I can start up a list. So anything we can do to work as a team, and that goes for anybody in the township that wants to help out. It's not, just held up to you guys, but
As of right now, we don't have any.
I guess I'm asking for volunteers, not like a
What
motion.
if, I've got a question, I'm willing to do this, but sometimes, because I dance, I may not be able to close till 11.
That's okay. Be safe, I
Not
mean,
10, it would not be 10, it could be 11.
it closes at 11.
11 p.m.
Yeah,
Is that just for
During the
meals
week?
or?
yeah, that's.
Oh, I was
7
gonna
to 11. I
volunteer.
want it used to be 8 to 10,
I don't stay up that late.
unless it,
Sometimes I
maybe it
get
can
home
switch
better.
back, I mean, let me give that to you.
The thought was to close the bathrooms at 10 and clear the park out by 11.
Yes, yes, thank you. I'm a little froggy
I can
today.
tell.
So I guess I'm looking for volunteers, we got
How-
2 weeks.
I mean, I could, as long as you say it can be as late as 11.
Yeah, so if you're
Yeah,
saying,
that's on occasion,
Yeah.
not every day, not every day.
not Monday through Friday,
Right,
And you're volunteering for just Fields or all the parks?
I live right next to Beals.
Beal, she lives right next to, but I can, let me reach out, I just wanted to kind of get a feel of the board, I can reach out to the baseball president and the softball
You can ask them first, but if
for
you
closing
need
up Flickum on
somebody-
Beals, I'm sorry, Flickum on Holiday.
I'm happy to help too. I hope it's not often at 11.
So
but-
the weekend that Robin is off, that would be a great weekend to help out.
Yeah, let me know what weekend that is.
I'll take holiday that week.
Okay, thank you.
And I've got Beals if you need it.
And they'll need keys, right?
So I'll kind of coordinate it and away we go.
We don't have any rentals right now.
We
until
do in May.
3rd, I think. Do you know like when you'll stop the applications come in?
Well, we have it's still up on the website. I got a new walk-in today that passed it over to me. So I have 4 interviews scheduled, and then I'll call that person.
There's
Do you
no
need help
end
on
time
the interviews?
posted, so we just.
Do you need help on the interviews?
Robin's gonna help me. You're welcome to join if you like, but we're doing it on the 17th and the 23rd. But she used to be the caretaker, and
Yeah, she knows.
offered to help. So
Yeah, 8 years.
Yeah, she's been around for a while.
So I'm like, Joan, I just live down the road from Holiday, so
Okay,
if you have keys and it's like, hey, nobody's gonna fill it,
okay,
I can drive by.
Thank
No
you.
problem staying up that late.
Thank you.
But I'll suffer.
Good question that I had earlier, just for FYI, I do have a key that I can get to you, so if anybody wants to look at the caretaker house and get a feel for what this trade-off is, and if you think she or he deserves more compensation, I'll have the key there for you, and you guys can take a tour of it.
Have we decided how that was gonna go yet?
no, we need to. I want us all to walk through. So I mean, we can all go together as long as we don't discuss township business. We can go together, or I can walk people through if I have the key.
I've been there and done that, so I don't think so.
I do think it would be good for if you haven't been through to see, so you know what we're offering, and then it can help educate you if we need
That's
to
a good idea.
add.
If anybody wants to see it during the day, just give me a jingle. Right.
How many bedrooms is it? That are true
That's
bedrooms?
up for discussion. I mean, there's the bedroom, there's upstairs, there's like 3 bedrooms,
So there's one.
but the steps are narrow. So there's actually the one main bedroom, and then there's the back bedroom that's kind of a washer and dryer room, and it's an open, like a dining room, but that's where they put folks before in the past.
So it's a one bedroom.
Yes, it's a one
Okay.
bedroom.
It's a 1-bedroom now, yeah.
I mean, yeah, if I was selling it, I guess I'd call it a beautiful 1-bedroom lakeside. Fit for a king and a queen.
Well, little king and queen, because there isn't much room in
A
it.
little Lord
Yeah.
Farquaad.
Really?
So I guess I wasn't looking for a motion, just people that could volunteer and help out, and then I'll keep you posted during the week.
Did you want me to come get a key later, or do you wanna leave it now? You have an extra?
You're gonna try and do this tonight?
No.
No, I'll put the key in your mailbox.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have it on me, but.
Okay. I just know we usually miss each other, so.
Okay.
Normative.
And last but not least, this is just a work projection. I've done this many, many years in the past. It does get redundant on the dailies and the weekly duties, but I think it's good for you guys to see until as long as you want me to keep doing it, just so you kinda see what the special projects are, the special notes, some key things to look at is Hazy Camp Lift Station. It's proceeding well. I mean, it was a complete revamp from the ground up. Jackson Murphy has been phenomenal. I and my team have learned so much on this project, so it should hopefully make the next one go smoother, but we'll talk more about that during budget hearings. The pavilion at Pine Ridge is up and done, the concrete's in, the sidewalks formed up, they're gonna be doing the sidewalk tomorrow. It looks beautiful, it's just gonna make that winter park so much better. It really looks great. And then, obviously, the list of things that we've been doing and what we are gonna be doing, so did anybody have a chance or any questions on the special projects?
Could you run a quote for the future, for future consideration for a vault toilet?
For Pine Ridge?
Yeah,
Yeah, I can get some quotes on that.
thank you.
Is that something, so, do you want that on this year's budget? 2020,
Yes.
25, 26? Okay, I will, do we know the dates of that yet?
No, we have to approve it.
Yes, I didn't know if any dates had been
For
put
the
out.
budget meetings.
The budget meeting's gonna be in June.
June.
Mhm.
Do we know officially what
We have to
dates?
have budget workshop to prepare the budget.
We would like it sooner, because we have to go through a lot.
Yeah, okay.
We don't have official dates. We just had our organization meeting at 5:30, and parks was a thing that we all
And-
thought we'd like to improve, so,
And that was specifically mentioned.
yeah.
Vault toilets,
Mhm.
okay. All right,
Thank you.
adios.
Feel better.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right, the next item on the agenda, the office girls have asked if they could unlock the door. Not sure if that needed to be approved by the board, but I thought I'd throw it on the agenda. We might as well just discuss and approve it for them officially.
Did you discuss what that is exactly? We need to do
Um,
something.
Yeah, so the wooden door that goes into the office, during the day, you have to swipe in with a badge.
Mhm.
They would like to, unlock it, so there's a push bar, you can like use a special key so it stays in the open position.
Mhm.
So then when people come in to pay taxes or whatever, they can just come in, they don't have to wait for someone to buzz them in. They just wanted it to be open to the residents, they thought the residents would appreciate
Did they
it.
feel that that was safe?
Yeah, they felt safe.
It was open before COVID, and the board decided to keep it closed after COVID. So I think since they voted to keep it locked, that it should take a vote to open it.
That makes sense to me.
I invited Captain Brown from the sheriff department to come out and do a little safety audit, and he recommended that we have a safe room, and he recommended that we have it locked. Not all of the girls want to have it open. We let people in if they need to talk with Joan or me or the, building department. We have a walk-up pay window, people have been doing that since it's been locked.
How many people have tried to come in, well, that doesn't have a key to get in? A lot.
Oh, once in a while, somebody will
Once
grab
in a
it, and
while.
I'll just say, I can help you over here. I myself prefer to keep it closed. There have been a couple incidents where, somebody was really irate, and I was worried. And another time, someone was in possession of something that alarmed me also in the hallway. And I would prefer to keep it closed, so we let people in, like I said, if they wanna come in and talk or sit for half an hour, but the public doesn't complain about it. At first, a couple people did, I don't hear any complaints about it.
I feel that in today's times, and because I am a safety instructor, I'm kind of with what she's trying to say. In today's world, I'm not sure if that's best to have it unlocked. Not at this time. I mean, I'm just that way. I'm a very safety narky person, so.
Yeah, I mean, my comments would be, like, the library is right across the hall, and they don't get to lock the door, you know, and
They get to go in.
they get to go right into the library, and, I mean, most businesses, people just come in, and I worked in some credit unions that had, like, bulletproof glass, and some that didn't, and, you know, for the times that they needed it, I'm sure they're really grateful. I just know when I was in the office last week, I spent 2 days in the office,
on my vacation, and they had asked me about it, but Trudy wasn't there, and there was someone absent that day, had a day off, so I didn't talk to all of them. But they were climbing up, getting the plexiglass down from COVID, and they just were so excited to just feel free in there and more open. And I know like there are offices that have doors that can be locked for safety, so you know, there might be one person who doesn't have an office that wants it. No one said they were against it the other day, and Trudy does, she has her door that she can lock, so.
As long as you've got implementation in place, what would happen, what if?
And we do this right here, I was told this is the safe room between the office and
Sure.
and the boardroom, the kitchen.
I'm just curious as to like what they were saying as to like why they wanted to open it. I'm kind of like that too. I'm like if you know it's already closed.
I can read you a text from a person. I really hope the board agrees to open the doors. I feel like the residents have been wanting this for some time now. And she sent a reminder, hope you had a great vacation, just reminding you about asking the board their opinion and opening the doors up to our residents to come in the office.
We came from an employee.
Yes.
I feel like it is more personable. I mean, every time I'm here, I would love to just talk to the person I need to talk to, even if it's like walking through and saying, hey, are they available or whatever. The whole window with the talking thing, it just reminds me of a 7-Eleven in a really bad area. So I feel like, have we had situations where we've been alarmed? I know that you felt that.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Very violent.
Oh.
And it was to a man. It was to John, and
Oh, it was
it
toward
wasn't
him.
toward me at all, and I felt very worried for my safety.
What if there's 6 people wanna come in at the same time and they got freedom to stand around until their turn?
Well, we have a couple chairs. I don't know why, but I think it's from the old days when it was open. There's a couple chairs to sit in. I mean, sometimes when I'm here, people will come in, and sometimes there's hours with, like, nobody asks to come in, or they just go to the window and pay their thing. I think a lot of people will probably end up going to the window and if they don't know the door's open. But I feel like, you know, if the people that are gatekeeping want the gate open, I respect that.
What if we took a raise of hand in the crowd and see just what they thought?
For informational purposes?
Yeah, they're the ones coming into the office. What would they think?
Yeah, I mean,
Some very small part of our population.
I know.
right.
But I mean, they might be coming into the office more than most people do.
Would anyone out there want to raise their hand that they would appreciate an open door? Yeah, few people would appreciate an open door.
Who would not? Who would like it as it is?
I think it's fine just the way it is. It's not an inconvenience to wait for 2 seconds for them to buzz you in.
Yeah. Sounds like if it's either way, then why change it?
Because
To me.
for the
Peace of
person who
mind,
has to push the
especially.
button,
Are they complaining for pushing the
Maybe.
button?
Maybe that's why they don't want to push the button.
Yeah, right there, I don't know.
We can vote on it. Do we have a motion?
I mean, I feel that my safety could potentially be at risk. I mean, when I first started here, there was a state police in the backfield standing there with his gun drawn. And we were in the office and Chief Cleveland went out there and asked what's going on. They were in a high-speed chase with someone that they thought potentially had guns. And they were coming through the field from Russ. And he locked the door, and I'm thinking, it's not gonna stop a gun if you lock the door. In fact, I left early from lunch. I went home and they were saying, oh, you're not gonna be safer home. Yeah, I am.
There's at least a little delay between you and them.
You know, there's potential for that to happen, and it's a simple thing to lock the door, and if there was an instance, you know, we could lose someone, we could be maimed for life, we could, just because it's inconvenient to push the button, or someone's uncomfortable because they have to walk up to the window. You know, I believe our safety is
I just think
a
it
much
feels
bigger
really
priority.
closed off and like, you know, I'm not in there full time, so it's hard for me to speak to it right now, but come June, like, if I wanna go to the bathroom or run to the library or take a phone call, I have to remember to bring my keys, like, I forget a lot, I don't wanna bug the girls, so, and I don't think it's necessary.
I bug them
but-
because I wanna say hi anyway.
I usually say hi, but I just feel bad interrupting what they're doing to buzz me in, and
I also go to the county treasurer's meetings, I try to go every month, I miss them, but I try to go. And, there was a municipality locally that they had a person that threatened to kill them all. And they didn't have anything, they were open, sometimes there was only one person there in the office. It could happen, and this is a simple thing to do.
but we have to come here with the public. I mean, people say all kinds
Yep.
of crazy things to us and about us, and we face them every second
we
Monday.
We're very
Yeah,
vulnerable.
well, we have to, but we don't have to open the door.
I think that two things. I think there's part of the community that understands why it's locked. And I think there's another part of the community that doesn't want it locked. You know, it's important, I'm one of those people that want the door open because it shows that we're closed off as a township. You should be able to, it used to be, we're not like this super high crime area in Egelston, so. I mean, I know you guys think so, but we're not that. We have 2 PINS officers. We don't have full-time police department out here. So it doesn't really, to me, it affects me very little. It's irritating, but it affects me very little, so, I mean, I like the open door policy. But again, down at the county building, you know, you gotta go through, you know, you gotta be patted down, like you're going through TSA, I mean. So,
We have no motion on the floor, we were talking a whole lot about it.
I make a motion that we keep the doors locked.
We don't need a
And we
motion for that.
continue as we have been.
I'll have to second that because of my beliefs of safety.
It's already in place, so we don't really have to make a motion to keep it as it is, but.
Hours, we might go motion.
Okay.
So what do I tell the staff then if we don't vote on it?
We just
The board
declined to
discussed
make a
and,
motion.
Yeah, make a motion to change it.
Unless you wanna make a motion.
do you even know what I would do? Do I just tell them,
Just tell them that
No one made a
the
motion.
board wasn't interested in unlocking.
okay. All right, communications, treasurer's report. Yeah. Anybody have any comments or wanna say anything?
I have a comment, but it's kind of about when we pay the bills. And I would like to have the list of the bills that I'm approving to be paid. That's kinda cool.
We sign them.
Yeah, that's what gets passed down to you, the signature.
Before we,
Initial.
no, before we vote. And it would be nice if it were in the packet. So that I can look at it ahead of time. That's all.
It probably can't go in the packet, cause I don't usually have it in time, and it's a lot of pages. But if you want to come like 10 minutes early and thumb through it, it's always sitting right here and I pass it. But,
That's cool. I can do that.
yeah, that thing that you pass has all the bills, so if you, yeah.
Yeah, we
Look,
can't
it'll
get
be
it early.
sitting like here or something, usually.
Is
That's
the
all.
attorney bill in there too?
No, that usually comes something.
We used to get one and then we just gave back to the supervisor before we left.
What I've seen is just like a list, I didn't think it was all of the POs and stuff.
No,
No.
John would bring the attorney bills separate in a file, because they have to be returned to you after the meeting. They can't, they're not public, information.
But then we could see like how much was code enforcement and what other things we were paying the attorney for.
All right. Moving on, the last item is the 3-year plan from the road commission. I believe someone from the community had asked, so that's online. There is a link on the website if you're here. Can't remember who it was. But the 3-year plan is out.
And it will come to budget workshops.
Yes.
This is not approved.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's a tentative plan, right?
It's a
Unless
plan,
we,
it's just
unless
not
we change it.
approved.
So it would be official after the June budget meeting, annual meeting? All right, public comment.
Sandy Swab, just want to let you know that your agenda that's sent out to everybody that asked for notices to be emailed to them failed. It says the link could not be used. So you might want to check in to find out why it failed to come through. And your treasurer's report, is that normally the report we get here that the public could have a copy? If so, I don't see it.
Thank you for your comment. Is there another public comment?
David Goble. About a year and a half ago, there was an issue raised by the DEQ, I think it was, having to do with the PFAS. And I haven't seen PFAS on the agenda for the last year and a half. I noticed the public fountain is still out of order. I'm assuming that has something to do with it. So I'm wondering if you can update the public on what the status is with the PFAS. Anybody?
What phone did you say is out of order?
The public fountain out here in the hall says out of order. It's been out of order for
Oh, I
months.
said the phone.
I don't think it affects the phone.
I thought you were gonna call. Okay, I'm like, the phone
We
is-
have gotten clear water results, but I would encourage anybody to drink the water yet. We do have a reverse osmosis system in, and after the second testing, I think we were good to use it. It's just, I wouldn't.
Is that the whole
It's
You don't-
system or
you don't
just-
trust the
It's
tech?
inherent with the process of, there's other issues with reverse osmosis. It gets, it's,
Okay,
It's not
let
PFAS
me ask it this way. Is the PFAS issue still an issue, or has it been resolved?
No.
In terms of the township?
Oh.
our
Yeah,
fire department is over on a couple of the types.
okay.
In fact, I have those, for you. You
I'll
would
just
ask for
wait
them,
for them.
but you-
So is there some kind of remediation plan, or where are we with the response to the DEQ?
They haven't contacted us again because it's been found everywhere in
Everywhere.
the township.
Okay,
They're focusing more out by the wastewater right now.
so they're not looking at liability of the township right now?
Not at this time.
Okay, and the township's not confident enough in the testing to open the water to
I didn't
public?
say the township wasn't, I said I'm not.
Okay, but the fact is it's been tested a couple of times then,
Yeah.
as recommended by, I'm assuming, some authority?
2 times 30 days apart.
Okay, and it's come back clear, but
Yeah, here.
whoever
Well, with reverse
has control of that is not confident enough in the testing
Well-
to open it up
Well,
again.
with reverse osmosis, it removes minerals and things that your body needs apparently, if you do some research,
Oh,
and then it's
So-
kind of like another
But that's if
problem
you,
for
that,
people to drink it.
so that's only if you're only drinking that water on a regular basis, then it actually robs your bones of minerals that are essential.
Yeah.
So I think that,
Drink at your own risk.
well, it's not super
The main
big of a
users of
risk.
that drinking fountain are the little people out there.
I'm
Yeah,
just wondering,
exactly, yeah.
They make a
I'll bring
kind
mine.
trail, but now they tend to bring their own.
I'm just wondering, is that for the whole system or just for that water fountain?
It's
The whole
township-wide
Township.
water system.
The PFAS, the reverse osmosis?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, and DPW has one too, and fire department.
okay.
So,
I would say,
So it's in all of our.
I haven't heard
buildings.
anybody complain that they can't.
Well, on the bottom of my-
well, I'm just trying to figure out if there's an issue, and you're telling me there's not an issue with liability and the PFAS.
So far, we haven't heard any more
Okay.
about liability.
And the reverse osmosis has something to do with why the water is still turned off. Is that what you're
I
saying?
thought that's what the last supervisor.
Okay.
This
So-
is actually an agenda item for next time, so that's,
Oh.
yeah.
Oh, so agenda item for next time. Okay, all right,
Yeah.
thank you.
Hello. I have a couple questions about the March 26th meeting that you guys had where you promoted everybody for the fire department. And I was just wondering if you guys knew what the qualifications were for the positions that you, like a battalion chief. Have we ever had one before here in Egelston? And what's the purpose of having one? And what their if the promotions, if those people have met the qualifications for those promotions. Did anybody ask or find out if they were qualified for the promotions?
Yes, and I had that sent to you with one of your many FOIA requests.
Oh, thank you, I appreciate that. And the other one is that at that same meeting, when Trudy asked about the qualifications for the fire chief, Alex said that he had completed all of the qualifications and that he would make sure that you got a copy of them. Did you ever get them? A copy of them?
No.
Okay,
According to his last resume, I think he has, correct me if I'm wrong now, it's instructor 1 and fire officer 1.
okay, because I was here and I remember him stating that he had met all the qualifications and he offered to send them to you. And I was just wondering if he ever did.
Since December 21st, there haven't been any more
There haven't
changes.
been any additions.
Okay,
We
so-
really need to keep it public comment and not keep going back and forth.
Oh, that's true.
Sorry.
But, so he didn't, so his statement that he's met the qualifications, it is not proven yet?
You have
I
to
guess.
address the whole board. You
I
can't
am.
address one member.
I'm just used to looking in that direction, I'm sorry, I'm not meaning to be rude to the other people. But I just have concern as a resident that, you know, do you guys know what the responsibilities are and what the qualifications are for, let's say, the battalion chief and that? Did any of you look any of that up and have that information before you voted to promote the people and pay them their wages?
You have to keep commenting or we'll have to have the next person come up. We can't answer you.
Oh, careful. Benji, thank you for bringing up about to pay the bills. I think it would be nice, if done in the past, where they say what they're paying, like for instance, attorney bills, you know, other things. I mean, you say pay the bills, well, I think the residents should know what you're paying. And I think that would be nice that if that starts being brought up. And also, I just wanna say, I did check with the MTA regarding statutory duties. Trudy is doing her statutory duties, doing a very good job. She's not in anybody's lane. She's looking out for the residents of this community in regards to the safety and keeping our community financially sound and avoiding unnecessary lawsuits. It is all board members' responsibility to research beforehand and not have information left out of the packets. Sometimes these packets, they pick them up and there's things missing. You people need time to study before you actually vote on something, and I've noticed that a lot. That a lot of times, there's no comment after they vote. You can comment after you vote, why you voted for that. It would be nice to hear that from everybody, or any questions, because you are the whole board. The whole board does not get in anybody's lane. You have just as much power as anybody else on this board. And I just wanted to let all of you know that. That's why you were elected, to share ideas and to make comments. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello. I would just like to have a little bit of clarification on the positions. As I stated, I'm new to the township again. And so I had asked for a list of positions for the firefighters, and Amanda was graciously, she sent me an email back, and I thank you for that. The positions that she had listed besides chief, were second lieutenant and career firefighter. And I know we have the part-time paid, and then it also was listed under the part-time, that there was a sergeant. So with all the communication going on right now, discussing a battalion chief, or a battalion, what was that? Battalion chief, a deputy chief, and a fire chief. So I would like to have clarification on what the difference is between the battalion chief and the deputy chief. And do you have job descriptions for each of them, those positions?
Yeah, we cannot answer.
Oh, you can't answer me that ever? You can't ever comment back?
We could come back next meeting and address it if we saw fit, but we can't go back and forth with the public, sorry.
Or board comments.
I was gonna say.
She can send you an email and you can address it.
Yeah, you could send another email. Those have changed since that email correspondence. Any other public comment?
Oh, if I could do that another way. Background checks. You stated that for the fire chief and the deputy chief position, am I right that there was no background check for fire chief position?
Yes, there is a background check.
It's not listed in the job description and the,
We do background checks on all of them.
Alright, we can't go back.
But this is a new, this is a new position, and then a new background check should be ran on each of the new positions. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Any other public comments? Alright, board comment.
I just have one very simple one. When we have people come up to the microphone, should we have them state their name and address? And I haven't seen this happen when
Not
people come up.
necessary.
No, it's not necessary.
think it's
That's
legal
why I said it
either.
was a simple question, if we should do that.
Some ask for it, we cannot mandate it, but we can ask them to identify themselves and,
I just like to know where they're from and.
yeah.
to answer one of your questions, in the firefighter SOPs, it says the job descriptions are in the personnel, the policies and procedures, administrative policies and procedures, and here's the page. One side is the Teamsters and one side is the IFFA, International Firefighter Association. So, and we obviously didn't have a chief or a deputy chief description because we created those to have attached to these job contracts. My other board comment has to do with purchase orders. Here's a purchase order request that was submitted on February 5th, 2025. And Joan and Amanda signed it. And then, that was the 5th. There was a work order. Things were ordered on the 5th. And then the invoice came on the 28th. But the purchase order was for April 8th. So it was after the invoice came. Then there was another one on March 31st. Invoice dated March 31st. And here's a purchase order for April 8th.
I would like you to address us, please.
No, I'm doing a board comment. It's
I know, that's to us.
okay,
board
just
comment.
listen to me. So normally, my understanding is a purchase order is to get permission to buy something or to spend township money and have it signed. This one, Joan wrote and signed. Here's one, purchase order request. April 3rd was the request. Amanda signed it, there's no date, so I'm not sure what date that was. The cyan toner, looks like toner for the printer, was ordered April 8th. And that was, let's see, the invoice was for April 10th. So that looks like it was done correctly, but there's not another purchase order, so maybe someone can explain that to me. And then this one, a purchase order request came on April 4th. Some things were ordered April 4th. The invoice came April 7th, and the approval was April 8th. So I thought, I know when Herb gets a purchase order, that he comes before he orders things and before the invoice comes. So I just kind of like someone to explain to me, are we supposed to have purchase orders after things are ordered and after we get the invoice, or before?
Some of those were pre-approved. If you'll remember, they got pre-approval for medical supplies and stuff that they were out of, and they brought a big purchase to get approved at the board level.
This is a metric adapter for a nozzle. This one is a toner. This one is for badges. By the way, we're going to need new badges and new uniforms and new fire helmets now with these promotions.
Well,
so
the
that's an
badges were
added
in the
cost.
meeting.
And then, yeah, that's the badges.
And the one where I did the toner, you said that didn't have a date, but that, if my phone wasn't dead, I'd look up the date. So you have one question?
No date. I have two
The
questions.
metric nozzle?
I would like to know if the purchase order should come after the invoice. Because it has been.
That's the purpose of a purchase order. However, if it's pre-approved, it's kind of a moot point.
We didn't pre-approve name bars, serving scents and collar brass.
That's if it's pre-approved. That's all I'm saying.
I believe we did pre-approve that.
Could you send me those minutes, what meeting that was? Because I didn't see it. I would look before I brought this. And the toner.
You don't have access to the
And
minutes?
the, yeah, I looked, it wasn't there. And finally, my last board comment, I know we've been here a long time. I'd like to read the letter of agreement that our board approved at our special meeting. So this is a letter of agreement. It's called number 1 positions, Egelston Township and Egelston Township Professional Firefighters Union Local 3901. This was read at the board meeting, but no one recorded it, so that's why I'd like to read it again. March 18th, 2025. The parties who are signatures to this collective bargaining agreement have agreed to the following provisions. The union will agree to release the deputy chief position out of the union in exchange for promotions within the bargaining unit to fill the positions of battalion chief, Rushak, Captain Swartz, Lieutenant Maginity, and 3 second lieutenants, Swart, Thiel, sorry if I pronounced your name wrong, and Brown. If Maginity promotes to chief, by the way, we hire chief, we don't promote them, then Thiel shall be offered lieutenant first, then Brown, and the vacant second lieutenant position shall be filled within 6 months. So it kind of seems arbitrary to me that Thiel is qualified to be the second lieutenant. Oh, but if something else opens up, then we're gonna bump him up to the first lieutenant. So why don't we just make him the first lieutenant in the first place? It's dependent on if somebody else moves here, moves there. Normally when you're promoted, it shows that you've been trained by the person above you and you have experience that you've gained, and that when you have that title, it means something. And when it's arbitrary that we could say, well, you'll be the first lieutenant unless somebody else goes here, then you're the second, then the first. Some of them moved up 2 and 3 positions. If neither Thiel nor Brown accept lieutenant position, then only 1 additional second lieutenant position shall be filled. This will allow the formulation of the chain of command with the bargaining unit and follow the current promotional process. This does not follow the current promotional process if you look at the contract. These positions shall be filled immediately with the exception of a vacant position, and the union will agree to bypass Article 13, rates for new jobs and promotions of the current CBA, this one time only, for a smooth and cost-effective transition. I'm not sure how cost-effective that is. Alex was correct, he said it'll be around $20,000, but that's only for straight pay. Overtime at time and a half with 2 or 3 levels of in promotions is going to be more than that. And the cost, like I said, of uniforms and badges or helmets, whatever, needs to be updated to reflect their new positions. And finally, we do pay up to 15% pension into their pension, so 15% of a higher salary is going to be more money. So I believe it's going to be more than 20,000. Let's see. Section 29.3, safe staffing levels will read a minimum of 6 bargaining unit members shall be maintained. Does anyone on the board know what the bargaining unit member level was prior to this?
4,
Thank you, Joan.
but we had 6 on staff.
Yes, we do. So we've been having 6. So if the economy tanks or the housing market tanks and we can't afford 6, we're required to now. This agreement shall have no bearing on the upcoming 2025 CBA negotiations. The attorney asked for clarification on that. They didn't want it held against them. And in the negotiations, obviously, they're going to be asking for a raise. And then it just has the people listed. Alex is the president of the union. I find it almost a conflict of interest that the president of the union brings a letter of agreement so that he can be the fire chief. That's all.
Any other board comment?
I'd like to thank everyone for staying until the closed session was over. I know it's kind of annoying to, be left in the dark. So I just really appreciate everyone waiting and coming back and while we work out things, and I just appreciate our board too. Even the questions and the digging deeper, that's like always welcome to me, and I thank everyone for their participation. It's really how democracy works.
And I'd like to say Happy Easter to you.
Happy Easter.
We saw that.
All right, looking for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.